You okay, Chelsea?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, I was on Instagram.
Here we go again.
My bad. I get so sidetracked.
Welcome, guys,
Okay.
to
Hi,
episode 10.
everyone.
This is exciting. Wow, we have a
This is
special
a
guest today.
momentous episode.
Forgot to silence my phone.
The ring notification. He's got a
I know.
package.
It's my friend bothering me again.
Speaking of packages, I have a very hefty package arriving tomorrow, and I'm so excited.
Nice.
Wow, is it a house? Let me guess.
No, it's from. Do you want to guess, or do you want me to just tell you?
Let's guess, Jordan.
Michael should know.
Oh, I should know. It is a. Is it a desk?
No.
Oh no, it's
God,
not.
no. I have too
Then I
many
don't
discs
know.
already.
I don't. Oh, I know. It's the expensive thing that you bought.
Yeah.
Right?
Rhino.
Yeah.
Slider. Arc 2.
Ooh,
Sweet.
good choice.
So excited. I've saved for months. I have literally hardly bought anything from like my working account because we have 3 different accounts. And James is like, hey, can I get this? But can I use this account? I'm like, no. Don't touch that account. That's for Rhino.
That's a
And he's
slider
like-
account.
He's like, okay, whatever.
That's for
So
Rhino.
I
Who's
finally
Rhino?
got it. It arrives tomorrow, and I'm so excited.
It's awesome.
So-
Motorized, right?
Yes, it's the time lapse bundle the shorter like 24-inch slider
Mm-hmm.
with the motorized thing at the end and then Arc 2.
Nice.
Super excited. Yeah, I can't wait.
All right.
I wanted to cry when I hit pay now, but hopefully it'll pay off. Yeah.
Well,
It's worth it once you get the package.
Do you have it?
No,
No.
I need to get a slider. I've just been renting,
Oh,
like
okay.
stuff like that. I've just been renting for so long, but I need to pull the trigger and actually
Yeah.
invest in that stuff.
so
I used to do that too. I rented a lot of things when I lived in Hawaii, but I don't have anyone like that here, so just went ahead and bought it.
Chelsea, just
Yeah.
real quick, your camera seems to be focusing on your mic. It's back on your face,
Oh.
but it keeps moving.
Okay.
So,
It's probably because the mic is too close.
speaking of sliders, have you guys heard of Zeppin?
I haven't.
No.
Okay, so it's interesting. They sent me an email last night, asking if I wanted to check it out. You guys might want to check it out. It's they're on Amazon, and it's basically. Can I send links here through Zoom?
You can share your screen.
Oh, I can share screens. How do I do that?
You should have a green button that says share screen.
Okay, let me see.
It's like semi in the
Oh,
middle.
I see it. Okay, because I'm doing a screen record, so I can't really. You know how when you do a screen record, everything gets dark? That's not being recorded, or maybe it's just me.
Oh, it like
Yeah.
vignettes onto whatever you're
Yeah.
using.
Okay. So let me see if I tell me if you guys can see this screen. Share screen. Ah, great. I have to do the permissions. Zoom. Oh no. You know what? Never mind, because it's gonna ask me to quit Zoom. So I'm like, let's not do that.
Oh.
But what I'll do is, I'll send you guys a link after this. But it's
Yeah, I wanna
basically
check it out.
It's basically a very small slider. It's like this long. But the way it's I can't even explain it correctly, but the way it's designed is that there's a track on top, and the actual slider itself moves so that even though it's short, it can get a pretty good range when it's moving.
Oh yeah, it's like the Edelkrone.
That's it.
what I
Yeah,
was
that's
about
it.
to say.
Yeah,
So
yeah, those are great.
Yeah, so I guess they make their own versions. It's a Chinese company, so it's obviously like a knockoff or something. But I was looking at reviews and they look pretty awesome. And it's about the
Yeah.
same price as the big ass slider that I have. That's, it's cheap. I mean, it's like $400, but it looks promising, honestly. I just responded to the email
Yeah.
when you guys, when I was waiting for you guys, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And it's just so funny that you brought up that you're getting your slider. So I'm like, oh, I should probably try this, because the one that I have is just way too big. I'm like moving things around just so I can plop it.
Yeah,
And
the
Yeah.
convenience factor
Yeah.
alone with those sliders
Yeah.
are great.
Totally. So,
That's why I got the 24, the smaller one, and not the 42 or whatever it is. I'm like, I don't have enough space in here for that gigantic thing. But if it ever comes a point that I need the bigger one, like you can just buy the rails and switch everything else out. So
Oh, that's nice.
yeah,
that's also another thing I realized is that you don't really need a big slider. right?
No.
Like for just mostly for
Unless you're
B-rolls?
doing large productions where there's a lot of movement, like you're moving behind a subject or like you're in a wide shot
Yeah.
and you have to show that big movement.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, especially for stuff in here, you're doing such micro movements, so you really
Yeah.
don't need too much.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
that's,
That's why I
something
went
I
with
learned.
that's why I went with the arc too, because even if you're doing just a little small movement on the slider, you still get that extra 4-axis movement from the arc too. So hopefully that will step everything up.
Well, the pressure's on now, Chelsea. You better be making
know,
more
my God.
videos. I'm like
Yeah.
hounding
Well-
Chelsea all the time. I'm like, make videos.
He called me the other night. I was sitting on the couch. I was already out of the office. He's like, "Hey, are you making a video?" I'm like, "Well, right now I'm sitting on the couch, eating some puffs.
Leave me alone, Dad.
Leave me alone."
All right, so hey guys, let's do a little introduction for Jordan. I mean, I think everyone would love to know what Jordan does for a living. I know Chelsea and I are excited. Like when she told me what you do for a living, I was just like, "What?" Like my life is nothing like it's not as exciting as at least
Mine either.
from what I was hearing from Chelsea. So we would like to hear more about Jordan and what he does for a living and how he got into this whole creative sort of business. Because I know a lot of people would love to kind of follow your footsteps, right? I know Chelsea does.
Me included.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's give the mic to Jordan and have him introduce himself and maybe tell the audience and us, like myself included, a little bit about himself. That'd be really
Yeah.
nice to hear. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Jordan Pulmano, and I guess the most simple way to describe it is I'm a cinematographer and photographer, and in the past about 4 years, my focus has shifted into the music industry. So I travel with electronic DJs and like in the EDM community. I travel with these artists and I shoot all of their video and photo content, mainly for social media, music video stuff. So I travel with them when they're on the road, when they play shows. I go around with them. I film all of their stuff, cut it into the videos that you see on Instagram, and then I also shoot music festivals. So I'll shoot a music festival for a couple days for them to turn into what they call after movies, and it's basically just like a recap of the festival. So that's kind of what I've been focusing on pre-March for the past few years. Has been just a lot of traveling with that and doing that full time.
How did you get into the industry?
That's so fun.
It's a long story,
We got time.
so I don't know how much. Okay,
We got time.
if you want the long version, let's get
Let's
into
do
it.
it.
So I moved to Los Angeles back in 2015. I'm from Fresno, which is like right in the center of California, and I was shooting music videos and like commercials and stuff. I wanted to be a director and a cinematographer, so I moved to Los Angeles to kind of pursue that. And when I was down there, I started learning about the electronic music industry, and it was kind of the point of where it was really starting to pop off in like mainstream culture. So I started seeing these videos of people, or these like music festival videos. I'm like, these are awesome. These huge productions where there's like crazy camera cranes filming big fireworks and millions of people. Okay, not millions, but like tens of thousands of people. So I wanted to figure out how to get into that. So I met a company that specifically shot for music festivals and started working with them a little bit, and then ended up getting a full-time job with them. And that was back in like end of 2015. So I worked with them for a couple years, and that's when they brought me on to like music festivals and doing a lot of stuff in Los Angeles where basically most of the industry resides. So doing a lot of videos for these DJs and stuff there. And then just kind of kept doing that for a couple years and slowly I went from the production side into the artist side of it. So I went from shooting the music festivals with a company to slowly getting hired directly by the artists, and then eventually getting hired by the artist full time. And so it was just kind of a slow process from there.
That was like your audition, right? Basically.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
that's
That's
a
so
good little note for a lot of people who aspire to be something else, because we're just impatient, I guess, as a society, especially nowadays. And I think we
Yeah.
all want to be, where we want to be right away. Meaning, if I want to be a director, I want to be a director right away. If I want to be, this and that. But what Jordan did is basically the classic example of, going through the paces, right? Like, I mean, the different stages of it. And that's good. That's like a really good story. And you definitely have the experience to back it up once you actually get there. I think it's a lot. It's important for people to remember that you have to kind of start from the bottom. And it's actually really nice to hear that story. Like, you met with the company, you started, just shooting as a production, even though we already know that you aspire to be like a director of, some sort. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's really, I just wanted to kind of pin that because, I know
totally.
I'm going to forget later on after this. But yeah, go on with your story. I want to hear more.
Yeah, so that whole process, and again, talking about the time it takes, that was like 3 years of like a slow process finally getting to the artist side. And that was always the goal. I wanted to get to the artist side of things. I wanted to be hired by them and travel with them. So once I got into that, it kind of just kept, you get one job after the other and kind of turned into a full-time gig at that point. So for the past, basically from like late 2017 until early 2020, I was traveling almost full-time. So I would be gone 250 days out of the year and on the road with usually either one artist specifically or like a couple of them throughout the year.
Wow.
So that's been kind of what I've been focusing on.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Since I'm completely like mystified by this whole industry that you work in. So you work for a company, and do they assign you an artist to be like a part of their group or something? Is that how it works?
Yeah. So I ended up going freelance. So I still work with the company as a freelancer. And then I got the first few artists that I worked for just on my own. So that was just kind of under my name. And then I started working with another company who they kind of the same thing. They have a list of artists and they have a network of photographers and videographers in the touring space. Okay. And they kind of link them based on the style that they want and like personalities and stuff. So that's who I've been working with for the past like year or so, and they've been the ones that have kind of kept me busy from there.
Oh, good. So they can basically have you as like their favorite person to work with or something. They can call you anytime is I guess is my question.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. Do you have any other favorites? Like, is this, without name dropping or anything, but like, do you have
like favorite artists or favorite
artists to work with?
Yeah, there's definitely a couple favorite artists that I've worked with. Like specific tours that I've done that were just different than the usual electronic music.
Why would you say they were your
scene.
favorites? Like, is it
So it's an artist named Odessa, which I'm going to say the name because if anybody knows who they are, they know the style of music and kind of like their whole branding and identity.
I actually know.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Cool. So
Michael's like, oh, I'm freaking out.
I know.
So I did a tour with them in 2017, and it was like their album that had just come out. And so their whole show that they put together was just like the most incredible production I've ever seen. And so being on that tour was like way different than anything else that I've done because, you do the music festival circuits and things become somewhat repetitive because, you're playing same set day after day, day after day, and it's a music festival. So it's just like you're CDJs, like the turntables right here, and that's about it. But with them, they have a full production with a band and an orchestra and like a snare line or a drum line, and it was just a really cool experience because it was different than what I'm used to.
Wow, that's cool.
That is so cool.
That's cool.
You get to be like right in the middle of that too, which I am such a fan of music, like all types of music, and so I bet it is so cool to just be like right up close and personal while they're doing those big shows. That's really cool.
Were you
I like that.
were you kind of starstruck? Because I know I would be. Like in the beginning, while I can't even work, you know what I mean? I'm like on stage or something, like I'm just listening to it. Are you
Michael just starts
fighting?
dancing.
Yeah, I'd be fighting
in the
so
beginning
hard,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, when things are like new and fresh, and you're working with these artists that you used to like listen to, it's always like, oh, this is awesome. But it never becomes less fun, but you kind of get more into the work mode of it, of like seeing them as normal people, and you get to know these people on a really personal level. And so the kind of starstruck part of it goes away at a certain point, and it's just like, I know this person as them as a human, and they're like such a good person.
Yeah.
And so you kind of think of it a little differently from there.
Okay, yeah. And it, like, I'm imagining it makes it easier for you to work as well, because now you know their style.
Definitely.
And what they like, and, you know, you're not so distracted anymore.
Yeah, the biggest thing is like when you work with a new artist, for me, is learning their set, because when you see the show day after day, you start to remember exactly what's happening. So you know the full set list, you know what song's coming next, you know when the pyro's going to hit because everything's like queued out. So you know when the fireworks going to hit. So you know, okay, I need to be out in the crowd to get this shot and make sure that I'm there. And then, oh, this song's coming up, I want to be on stage for that. So that's kind of like the focus of it.
So who do you coordinate with? The production manager, or what do they call them?
The tour manager.
Okay.
So yeah, typically an artist they either just have a tour manager who handles a lot of roles, or they have a tour manager and a production manager. And the production manager would be specifically for the show and like what's going on. Tour managers just with the artist, making sure they get from point A to point B.
Oh, wow, interesting. I'm trying to piece together in my mind all the different factors that you have to take into account because it's like, what if I do have the skill to take video and edit them or whatever? I wouldn't even know who to talk to. You know what I mean? Like, do I just go to this person right here who has, I don't know, who has the controls right in front of him? So do you have a process? Like, when you make agreements with these companies or with these artists, do you have this one go-to person that you talk to and say, this is what I can offer you guys? Like, I don't know what it is exactly that you do, but you know what I mean? Like, is there like a certain process, or is it just you show up and be like, okay, guys, what do you want? What do you see?
It's you typically start out with management.
Okay.
And management, they're at the home base. They don't travel with you, but they're the ones that are looking after the artist as a whole. So they're like, you know, we're going to push this song in a month, so we want these style of videos.
I see.
So you always start with the manager. And so I would say for people who are trying to get into it, they're obviously reaching out to the manager. And then the manager, say you get hired by them, they're the ones who are kind of giving you the task of deliverables. And then everyone on the road is just there to make sure everything is moving as like a unit.
Okay.
So the tour manager may be like, hey, Jordan, can you do this and that? But for the most part, they just kind of schedule things, and if you need them, they're there to help you. But the tour manager isn't really like overseeing what you're doing, as long as you're doing your job, you know?
I see. Yeah. That makes sense. So when you have a contract with someone, is it like they differ? I imagine, right? Like how the length of the tour. And you said the longest one was what, 250 days or something?
Yeah, not consecutively, but
Okay.
like throughout the year. So it usually goes from you're either on a tour you're with an artist for a tour. So you would be, say it's a 30-day tour. So you'd be on the road with them for 30 days consistently. Or you are hired by them full time, and you're just kind of on their schedule. So they'll send you a schedule, and a lot of the times it's broken up by like anywhere from 3 to 14 days at a time.
Okay.
So a lot of times you'll go out just for a weekend. You'll fly out Thursday, you're home Monday, or you go on a longer run like to Europe or something, especially over the summer, and you're gone for like 10 to 14 days.
Cool.
And in between there, you do like 7 to 10 shows. And so you have like a little bit of space in between.
Wow. Where have you been that's the most memorable for you?
Oh man. That's
You
tough.
Did you go to
What's-
Japan? Did I see that you
I
were in
did.
Japan? Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, I think Tokyo is still one of my favorite places to go. Tokyo for sure. A lot of places in Asia I really love. And other than that, I think Europe, like specifically Norway, Sweden, that region is probably one of my favorites.
Wow.
That's so cool.
That is so
love
cool. I'm
that.
just like imagining it. And like,
I told you you would love hearing what he does and
yeah,
kind of how
I
he
totally
got
do.
started.
I mean, if anyone asks me, hey Michael, what do you do? I wake up and go to my office, and that's it. It's
Well,
nothing that exciting.
that's more common for me than being
Yeah.
out there. But
So what?
So how has like the whole self-isolation, how has that changed like your schedule? I mean, I'm pretty sure I guess you're just at home now, but how has it affected you as far as like income wise and everything?
it's been interesting. The very start of it, around March, when we are like, oh, this is happening, pretty much within a span of a week, I had like 6 weeks worth of touring just down the drain. Like I had a full schedule. I was going to be out quite a bit, and then it was like, boom, this is gone, this is gone, this is gone. So I'm like, oh, all right. But it's been fine. I mean, thankfully, I've had the unemployment that I've been able to sit with. So it's been good. I think it's a nice time off for me more than anything. And as much as I miss being out there and working, and I can't wait to get back to it, I am loving the routine that I've built at home.
Yeah.
Because I haven't had, this is the longest I've been at home consecutively for like years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of a nice switch up.
Speaking of years,
That's good.
so how long have you been doing this?
I first started doing it in 2015, but I didn't really do it full time until about end of 2017.
Okay. That's it's a
And you were pretty young when you got started. So I watched your YouTube video and that's how I know some of this. And I know you and I have kind of talked back and forth. But did you go to film school first or did
Yeah.
you just start? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
so
what
I went to
thought, but I
film
didn't
school
wanna
like
say.
right out of high school. So I started in like the summer because it was full sell online. So I wasn't like waiting for a semester to start. I started the summer of 2011 after I graduated high school, and was finished up in like 2014. And then I moved to LA the following year.
Okay. Yeah, similar to me. I went to LA Film School, all online
Nice.
as well. Yeah, but your path has taken a very different turn than mine from film school. But that's awesome. I love hearing that. Yeah.
So after film school, how did you envision yourself? Did you say, okay, now I'm done with this? Did you start reaching out to companies? Did you just put yourself out there? Like, what was your way of like basically trying to get any sort of job that's inside that industry that you went to school for?
I started shooting videos like in high school. So all through film school, I was starting to shoot like little videos in town for a couple $100 here and there. And then I finally, like 2013, the year before I graduated, I like just went full time with it. And so from the start and like right out of film school, I was already kind of like trying to build up a little like production company and just my name as a freelancer. So I was just doing small gigs here and there and trying to like slowly scale it up. And then I always knew that I wanted to move to LA for it. And so when I was done there, I was like, all right, let's save up enough money to get down there. And then that's when I was finally able to get the larger jobs and kind of slowly start to scale it.
So do you edit the videos yourself?
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah, I do.
what's the turnaround time for like a little, I don't know, like how much footage do you actually get for just one night, for example, of
So I've like kind of from the beginning of it, I would just shoot whatever. And then as time went on, I started learning like, these are the shots that I'm actually going to use. This is what I need. This is what I don't need. And so I've been a little more selective with filming just because you have quick turnarounds. Usually with videos, it's either one video at the end of the run. So you're compiling 3 to 5 shows into one video. Or sometimes you'll work with an artist and they're like, we want daily turnarounds. So we want a quick 20-second, 30-second video for Instagram the next day. And so those are the videos where you get home from the show at like, or get home the hotel. You get to the hotel after the show. It's like midnight or 1 a.m. and you have to be in the lobby to go to the next city or wherever you're going by 6 or 7 a.m. And so you just have to stay up and edit a little bit of just get something together so that you can send it to them the next morning.
Wow.
But that's few and far between.
Okay.
Typically, it's like send photos next day, but video can be at the end of the run.
So you take photos as well as video?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
One-stop shop.
I've been trying to get him to hire me as a photographer, but
Well, she wants you to
husband-
hire her as a pilot first.
the
As a
pilot,
yeah.
right? That's what he said when I asked him. I was like, I can work a camera. He goes, well, I kind of need a pilot. And I was like, I can't promise we will get there safely.
Yeah, we'll get you on there at some point once they start doing shows again.
That's
That'd be
awesome. So what's your well, how do you see this industry with given with what's going on right now? Do you think it's going to start back up, like rather not soon, but are you very optimistic about it?
Yeah, I think it's just going to take time. I think with everything that's going on right now, it's just time. I can't see music festivals and shows being at normal capacities again until the middle of 2021, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I know they're slowly starting to open things up and like do little things here and there, mainly overseas. So hopefully early next year, maybe I'll start doing more shows overseas where it's a little more under control.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I don't know. I think for a lot of people in the touring industry right now, it's a lot of uncertainty of just when are we going to get back to it, because I don't think it's going to be anytime soon.
Yeah. Other than the downtime, though, how are you keeping yourself busy?
Just taking desk photos, honestly. It's like the only thing that I can take every day and keep myself busy. But no, I've been doing that. Just taking random stuff, all personal gigs. Like I'm using this time to work on my personal stuff that I've been wanting to do for a long time. So trying to shoot YouTube videos as often as I can, shooting the Instagram content and just stuff that I can do at home.
I think a lot of people are
that's-
sorry, Chelsea.
No, it's fine.
Oh, I was just going to say that a lot of people have started to do the same thing. I mean, what else can you do, right? Like you can't go anywhere else and you can't travel. You can't. So you work with what you got, and most of the stuff that you have are at home, and it's pretty much your desk. Like for me, like my desk and
Same
all the stuff.
for me. I mean, this is the prettiest spot in my house. Like the rest of the house is like all builder grade. Like we bought the house brand new last year, and everything except this room is like untouched. Like empty walls everywhere else.
Wow.
So
it's an open canvas. That's what it is, right?
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're gonna get
exactly.
started soon. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people who are probably listening to this and want to be in the same industry as Jordan, do you encourage them, or I don't know, like because of what's going on right now, is it something that you can still tell someone, hey, yeah, just, try to get into this industry if you can? Or is it something that you will, if you heard someone who wanted to be in this industry, is it something that you can basically, I don't even know how to word it, like encourage them to keep trying? Or do you say maybe look into something else, or maybe...
Yeah, because I would never like tell them not to try something, especially something like this, because I know if someone told that to me, I'd be like really bummed out. But I think you just have to rethink the process of it a little bit. Like, obviously, you're not going to get into this year and just start traveling and like doing everything right off the bat. I think if you want to be proactive still in trying to build something up, just contacting management companies and saying, hey, I shoot video and I edit video. If you guys have any existing footage that you want to turn into into like Instagram videos or whatever you need, I can edit these videos for you. So I would say like that's the best first the first thing to do right now, because everyone always needs video, and there's a lot of content that artists are repurposing and using to keep their social media going and posting and stuff like that. So there's always a way to figure out how to get into it, even if things aren't at normal speed right now.
Right.
If you want to hear the rest of today's podcast, head over to wherever you listen to podcasts at and search Coffee with Creators.